Whispers, no silence, echoing the sounds from far away. Sequenced pariahs, following the footsteps to your grave. Look around. Is this the end you've foreseen? The pain, the misery in us all. What was it that you knew? Will we someday learn it too? Well, we hope to not cause any pain or misery today as we are back with a new episode that's going to be a whole lot of setlist talk. And this is I Remember Now, the Queensryche podcast.
I remember now.
Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Ray. Welcome to I Remember Now, the Queensryche podcast. Let me bring in my co-host Steve. Steve Wright, how you doing, man?
I am awesome, sir. How are you this fine morning?
I am good. The usual technical difficulties getting everything set up, but we are up and rolling. Not too late. We're at our original starting time. We had talked about starting at 8, then we pushed it to 7:30, and we ended up at 8 anyway. So it's 8 o'clock on a dreary, gray, kind of rainy, misty Sunday morning here in western Pennsylvania, but it is warm finally. It's been very nice this week.
Yeah, not too bad over here on the east coast of Pennsylvania. For once, it was only Ray's technical problems this morning.
Yeah.
So I think I got a handle on it here. Thanks to Dylan, not thanks to me. But we're ready to roll. I'm happy to be here. We're way closer to our last episode than we were the previous two. So Good to be back sooner than later.
Yeah, absolutely. It does feel good to be back. Always good to get up early on a Sunday morning and talk Queensryche. So with that said, let's get right into it. Steve, you want to recap the last episode?
Yeah, last episode we did we continued our classic Queensryche countdown, and we were from numbers 47 to 35. We had some close battles, a couple ties here and there, and we had our probably so far our biggest disparage in songs. Of course, Della Brown. I had it at number 7. Yeah. Ray had it at a ridiculous number 69. I mean, good number otherwise, but number for ranking for Della Brown just totally insane.
Completely appropriate.
Like I said before, I'm just disappointed, Ray. But like now that we're in the part of the list that we're kind of getting into the the hard part of it for me, because like we're getting into the
rare air,
the rare air, the mind crime stuff, the stuff that we really are ingrained in ourselves. I like these. It's fun. Like I said, I can't wait till we get till we do the version where our listeners are ranked and what they have. And Ray sent me the next list, and I'm just going to leave it at that for our next time we do it. I'm not even sure if it's going to be our next episode. This is great. I love it, and it's fun too, because like I said before, like it's tough now doing these because you're thinking like we ranked these like last November. So it's like, what was I thinking when I ranked this here? What was I thinking when I ranked that there? But it's always cool to look back, and because like everything, like every band, like as we usually do, take Kiss for example, like, and actually you commented on it too, Ray, when you guys recorded Asylum last week, that since you pretty much stopped doing like the continuous Kiss episodes, like you really haven't listened to a lot of Kiss lately. And I haven't either, but we are going to be doing a Kiss Crew episode next week on Powder Than Hell. And I was listening to it, and I mean, I'm not going to say what we're going to do, but like, I haven't listened to much Kiss either, like in the last, probably since like the end of the road. Like it'll come on here and there in a playlist, but like I'm not like actively seeking them out. Yeah. So, it's kind of like in the vein of that. Like, you get for Queensryche, sometimes I'll be like, okay, I want to listen to some Todd stuff. So other times I want to hear just The Warning or just Empire or just Mind Crime. So like you're sometimes when you rank things, you're just depends on what mindset that you're in at the time.
Absolutely.
So I mean, like for Kiss stuff, like you may be like really into like right now, and okay, you know what, I'm going from like Lick It Up to like Hot in the Shade, or I'm going from the first album to Destroyer. So you're always in that pull and tug of what you're into at the time when you're doing lists like this. So it's always interesting to come, because you may be in a totally different mindset when you're doing these rankings, and then it's like I said, like, what the hell was I thinking about when I put that there? Like, what the hell was Ray thinking about when he put Della Brown at number 69?
He was thinking clearly, is what he was thinking.
He was not. And I will be proven correct pretty soon. So that's what I got from last episode.
One phone call does not make you correct.
It's 2, by the way.
Okay, whatever.
So what'd you think of last episode,
fun, man.
not last week's?
Yeah, those countdown episodes are my favorite that we've done this year. I think they're just fun. Get to kind of play radio DJ makes me feel like Casey Kasem, when we're doing it, counting down the top hits in the United States. But they're just a lot of fun. I like I said last episode, my favorite part is your reaction when I first send you the list, because I just send you like whatever the next list is that we're doing, and then I just anxiously await your email back or your text message with your overreaction to some of the rankings. It makes me laugh every time. But
I would call that appropriate reactions.
Appropriate reactions. Okay,
yes.
We'll go with that. But I would imagine we'll probably do the next one on our next episode. And as you said before, we're getting into the rare air part. So we're going to be getting into all the way down to number 21, I think, on the next episode. Then we're going to break the top 20 into 2 separate episodes and then do the listener ranking episode. So if you have not chosen to participate in our listener episode yet, let us know. Shoot us an email at feedback@iremembernowpodcast.com and request the ranking file. I'll send it to you in Excel, and you can put your rankings in and sort it, and it's very simple to use, or you can just type out a list, whatever you want to do. But I'll be happy to send that to you. I had a couple more requests after the last episode, so we've got a pretty good group so far. So I think I want to say we got 12, 15, something like that.
That's cool.
So we'd love to have more, and then we'll compare the listener lists with our lists, and maybe, like you said, since you're in like a different headspace now versus where you were whenever we put the list together, maybe at the very end we can give each other a couple of mulligans or something, and move something that you maybe ranked low if you want to rank it higher or something, and then come up with the final list. Because I had the same thing like last week when we did anybody listening. Spoiler alert, if you haven't listened to the last episode, it fell into that list we did from 47 to 35. I thought it was just ridiculously low after I listened to it a few more times during that week. So there's definitely some songs I think that I misranked and need to re-rank, but that's what makes it fun, trying to remember where you were in November of last year when we decided to do this, and kind of how things progress and evolve over time. So that's one of the things I said on the Asylum show last week also. I forget what we were talking about, but like there's stuff that like I used to love that like now I don't. Like the older you get, the more you listen to it. Like you're listening to something in the car and it's like, I used to love this song, and then it's like, it's just not really that good. And vice versa. And we've talked about this a million times on here. There's Queensryche songs that like were never favorites of mine that over the last few years of doing this show have really just risen through the ranks. And it's just funny how tastes change and evolve over time.
Yeah, sometimes things don't age well. And it's the mindset too. I mean, you may have loved something as a 14-year-old or 12-year-old, and mid-50s, you're like, maybe not so much, but like we said too, like there's songs that like you didn't really care for in the past, and then you listen to them now and you're like, wow, why didn't I like that then? Or like maybe it's kind of a thing of like, okay, now I get it. Or and I've said it before, like there's songs that I didn't care for until I heard them live, and then like I'm like, holy shit, like, and then it clicks. Yeah. So it's a give and take on stuff, and like everything else, there's still stuff like songs like I don't give a shit what anybody says. This is fucking awesome, and nothing can change your mind, even time.
One of the ones for me that's not aged well over time, but I still like it. It's like a guilty pleasure is 17 by Winger. Like the lyrics of that song are just awful. It's like, Daddy says she's too young, but she's old enough for me. Yeah, no, she's not. She's still not old enough for you.
Not legally,
not according to the law, yeah. But the song itself is great. It's so catchy. It's got great riffs, and it's just a great song. But man, it's just lyrically, it just doesn't hold up. And how many Kiss songs are like that? I mean, you listen to these songs like Domino and just different songs that we used to love. I still do love the song, but lyrically it just makes you cringe when you become an older guy.
Yeah, when that bitch bends over, I forget my name.
I forget my name. Ow.
Oh, my God.
Anyway. Yeah, so speaking of last episode, we got some feedback here. I'm going to start off with a couple of emails. This first one is from Thomas Hubner. Thomas says, as I said before, I love DNA and really like Condition Human. This was in regard to our Verdict episode. Tried the Verdict again, and there is still not one song I like. As you said in this episode, the vocals sound absolutely nothing like Tate. So does the drums and guitars. That's my problem. Why listen to a Queensryche album if it sounds like any other underground prog metal band? Great episode again, guys. So yeah, just not a big fan of the Verdict rather, Thomas. I get it. I used to be there. I was not a huge fan of that album when I first heard it, but the more that I have gotten into the Todd La Torre era, which I am pretty deep into now, I would say, the more I like it. So maybe just keep giving it a try. Appreciate it for what it is. It's not the same band. They're a different band now than what they were before. So I would encourage you to just keep giving it a shot, and then hopefully eventually someday it'll click with you.
Yeah, Thomas, thanks for the comment. I kind of get what you're talking about. And like I was talking about before, sometimes it's a mindset. And the thing too, my main thing is like after, doing the episode and going back and thinking, could the drums be a big part of that? Because Todd did the drums on that too. Mm-hmm. So nothing against Todd drumming. I've seen him drum live and he friggin' kicks ass. I mean, he had some kind of Scott-esque feel to it, and like we talked about too, I'm not sure why they didn't use Casey for that album because he was with them at the time. I mean, to each his own, and like you said, Ray, I mean, maybe give it another shot or kind of go in. It's tough to go in to an album like that with a total like clear mind because that it's that Scott's not there, that and so that's the third album with Todd. So I'm sure Todd's more coming into his own than the Jeff-esque type of stuff. So, and it is kind of different, but I think when you get up to DNA that, that we, both of us, I think kind of agree on that is great that it all kind of comes together then.
Yeah, and like for me, like I was talking before about just sometimes something will just click. Like the example I always give on this show is Screaming in Digital for me. Like that song, like I did not like it my entire life. Like from 86 when I first heard it until like 2 years ago. I just never cared for that song. And then one day I was listening to it through headphones while I was walking and it just clicked. I was like, damn, that's a good song. How did I not like this all those years? So sometimes it takes longer. I mean, in my case, it took 40 years to like a song. So I would just encourage you, keep giving it a shot. And the thing we always talk about on Asylum is listening with intent, and giving something a chance based on what it is. And I've really learned how to do that over the years, especially, in prepping for podcast episodes, because there's, we'll do topics on there sometimes, and it's something that, I'm just like, I immediately dismiss it because I didn't like it back in the day, but it's like, I got to give it another shot because we have to talk about it. Recent example was Kingdom Come. We did a show about the 88 Monsters of Rock tour. I was busting Gary's balls all week that because he wanted to do equal number of songs on the show from all the bands that played, and I said, we should only do like one, maximum 2 Kingdom Come songs because nobody wants to listen to that shit, just because I just remember I wasn't a huge fan back in the day. And then, when we picked the songs for the episode and listened to them, like, this is actually pretty freaking good.
I love that album.
Yeah, I totally forgot like how good it was, and I never really gave it a shot back then. But then once I, gave it a fair shot, as we were getting ready for that episode, like I really enjoyed it. Now I've listened to it a couple of times since. So yeah, it's different for different people. Like you said, you like what you like, and sometimes something never clicks for you. Other times it just takes some time. So yeah, just keep giving it a shot. Just go into it listening like, I'm just going to listen to this and judge the music itself, and what the music sounds like. I'm not going to compare it to, Operation Mindcrime or Empire or Promised Land or, pick your classic era album. I'm just going to appreciate it for what it is. And that's kind of what helped me get into the new era, just accepting it for what it is. It's different. It's not the same band that it was in 1988. They're different now, and this is their new sound, and you either like it or you don't. So.
One more thing on that too, and you talked about listening with intent. Sometimes not listening with intent works as well. So say you do a Queensryche playlist, throw the Verdict in there, hit shuffle play. You might be surprised because you might be going along and just like not really listening, but you're listening, and a song may pop on and you're like, "Ooh, wait a minute, what is?" You may catch something that's like, that you really didn't catch before, but like sometimes you get those little hitches that kind of like, oh, what is that? So then you're picking up your phone, you're looking, oh, you know what? Maybe that's not so bad after all. So sometimes that works as well.
Yep. Good point. All right. So moving on, we have another email from a gentleman named Pat Binning, who I don't know that we've heard from before. If we have, I apologize. I know I've made that mistake in the past, but Pat says, "Hey, gents, I enjoy the podcast. I completely agree with you on their current set list. I've heard the hits close to 20 times live. I would prefer deeper cuts like Della Brown."
Ooh, that's a bingo.
Is that the way you say it? That's a bingo.
You just say bingo. Bingo, how fun.
Bridge, Voice Inside, etc. I would really like more songs from the Todd era. Too many to name. They were in my town last month, and I chose not to go because of the state of the set list. Cheers. So, Pat, you'll be pleased to know that we're going to be getting deep into that topic on this episode. So, couldn't agree with you more. I also skipped the last tour because I had no interest in seeing the quote-unquote origins of a band that only had 2/5 of the original members in it. Just didn't think it was I know it wasn't what I wanted to see, and just had zero interest in it. So I get what you're saying, and I don't know if that's the tour you're referring to, or if they were doing one of their shows that they're doing now, where they're doing more of a kind of hits-based tour with next to nothing new in it. So stay tuned, Pat. We got a lot of talk on that topic coming up.
Yeah, Pat, thanks for the email. I actually answered Pat's email, and here's what I answered him. Thanks for the email, Pat. Yeah, it's getting too routine for me as well, which I agree. I've seen them on, I think, the last 3 Monsters of Rock cruises, and I was shamefully, and I am hanging my head low by admitting this, that I was hoping that they weren't going to be on the Monsters of Rock cruise this year, just to kind of get a break from that. I said, however, just as always, I will be up front with my fist in the air. So, it's kind of like a thing. Like I'm going to see them. I'm going to see both shows no matter what. But like I wouldn't have been totally disappointed if they weren't on this year's cruise. But like I said, I'll be up front there every show and beaming over it when we record again after that. But it'll be interesting to see what they do. And like we talked about, we're going to talk about very soon that we just hope that they would integrate just a couple more Todd songs. It won't kill you. Won't kill you.
No, not at all.
But thanks for the email. Yep.
Yeah, no, great email. Appreciate you checking in with us. And like I said, we'll hear a lot more on that topic here shortly. So we also have a couple of calls this episode. First up, let's hear from producer Timper Tantrum.
Hey guys, producer Timper Tantrum here. I will say that you guys made me lose a bet. I had a bet with myself that it would take you 2 whole months to put out the next episode, and somehow you made it in 6 weeks. So there goes that $1 million that I would have never seen anyway, because I wouldn't have paid it. I hope the sake for whatever deity you do or do not follow that we can put to bed finally the standing-sitting argument, because that dead horse is starting to smell. I don't really have anything to gripe about on this portion of the list, as far as the list itself goes anyway. We're at a point where things are going to have to fall somewhere to make way for the upper echelon of classic tunage. Now, that's not to say that Steve shitting on the 2 question mark songs because they're not hard and heavy enough isn't worthy of an eye roll. Hell, my whole head slammed against the back of my chair. So I guess it was a head roll. But Steve, as much as I do disagree with you on most things non-rocker drivel, you almost totally, redeemed yourself with Della Brown. I wouldn't have had it at number 7, mind you, but it would be top 20, if not top 15. I believe Raymondre the Giant's ridiculous rhetoric was, "I've said it 1,000,000 times, it's not a bad song, it's just a fucking bore." He went on to say, "It's an absolute drag." I don't know that any words more asinine has ever come out of Ray's mouth. Well, okay, who am I kidding? He talks that way all the time. That, or he's talking out both sides of his apologist's mouth. "It sucks, but it's not a bad song." To quote Steve, "Holy God, I'm not mad. I'm disappointed and a little mad. Other than that, it was a good episode. I like these countdown shows. I like most of the songs, so that's easy to work with. I do not look forward to the Queensryche list, though, if I'm being honest. Anyway,
Turn the current on!
So you gotta love when even the producer of the show like busts your balls about how infrequently your episodes are, and his state of shock and surprise that we were actually only 6 weeks in between instead of 2 months. So I'm glad to see he's betting with himself, and was I guess happy that we came back sooner. I'm not sure. I can never quite tell with Tim. I'm not going to get into the standing versus sitting a concert thing again. We have indeed beaten that dead horse. I did like his criticisms of your criticism of the 2 question mark songs, as he said, someone else and anybody listening. I love when he busts your balls about things not being hard and heavy enough and being rocker drivel. Adela Brown, yeah, whatever. I'm not even going to get into that anymore. That's a dead horse also. I was honored actually that Tim said on the last episode, I said the most asinine thing he's ever heard me say, because I know I've said some asinine things before. So that made me happy. Then he kind of backtracked on that a little bit and said that it wasn't really, because I say that kind of stuff all the time, but, he's not mad at me. He's just disappointed. And I'm totally used to that. That happens almost every week on the Asylum show. So, it is what it is. And, what the fuck was up with that turn the current on, that little high pitch Eric from the Howard Stern show, turn the current on. That was like a little weird.
Yeah, I was actually going to comment on that when we were talking before we hit record. Excuse me, about Tim's turn the current on. But it's cool that he's mixing it up though. Yeah. But you got to admit it was better than. But you got to admit it's better than the turn the current on. It was better than the one we got before. And,
the one that was completely apathetic.
Yeah, if Tim, talking about for me with the question mark songs, if it's not rock or dribble, you ain't seen nothing yet, Tim. By the way, but always good to hear from Tim. And the standing at concerts, we know how that goes, and the Della Brown, we know that I'm correct on that, and Ray's not. And Ray, when he says that that's the most asinine thing he ever said, that gives you a goal.
Yeah.
To even top that. Yep. So
Raised the bar.
Just keep that in mind.
Or lowered the bar, whichever way you look at it.
Yeah.
All right. So next up, we have a call from our buddy Brian Heaton. Haven't heard from Brian in a while, so let's hear what he has to say.
Hey, this is Brian Heaton calling in for the I Remember Now Queensryche podcast. Ray, Steve, Tim, it's good to listen to you guys again. It's been a little bit. This year has been pretty busy for me working on a non-Queensryche book for once. It's going well, but just caught the latest podcast. We're doing some song rankings, and I heard anybody listening, someone else, and Della Brown, and I had to call in before I finished the whole thing. Anybody listening is a great song. Yes, you both do have it, speaking to Ray and Steve, you both have it way too low. I know it's not everybody's favorite tune, I get that, but that song, to me at least, obviously it was one of my highest ranked songs, and I think as time has gone on, that song's only gotten better. Someone else, I love Someone Else too. I agree with you guys. The lyrics can be meaningful for some. They're definitely meaningful for me as well. So Ray, I absolutely can appreciate your take on that. The only thing that bothers me with that song is that the full band version was the first one they came up with. So when they got to the end of the sessions and they had some time, they cut the piano one, but they didn't recut the vocals. And so they just spliced the vocals onto the song. So when Jeff goes, I keep looking back, like it's desperation in his voice, I feel like that should have been resung, maybe a little cleaner, just because the song was softer. That's always been a nitpick for me with that song, but otherwise I love it. Della Brown, Steve, you're wrong. Let's just put it that way. Not Steve, I'm sorry, Ray. My apologies, Steve. Ray, you are dead wrong. That song is what I call prog blues, and I've seen it in the original band do it in 97. I think them do it in 2003 with Mike Stone on guitar. It's always a really cool song if you're a guitar lover to watch DeGarmo and Wilton, or in that case it was Stone and Wilton, go back and forth. Just a lot of fun, but it's one of the most polarizing songs, I think, for Queensryche's fan base. I think it's one of those ones you either really like it or you just don't. So that kind of, you two kind of track with what I think is the most part for most Queensryche fans. Anyway, hope you two have been well, you two, Tim, and hopefully we'll get to talk again sometime soon. Keep going, and great job so far. Take care. Bye.
So Brian's working on a non-Queensryche book. I don't know that I was aware of that. Maybe I was. I think I was. I think he did say something about it online or in one of our chats, but that'll be interesting. Not sure what that topic is, so we'll stay tuned for that. He did call us out on anybody listening being way too low, which I think we both agreed on the last episode was way too low. He mentioned someone else, and I've heard this many times, that the vocals for the piano version were just kind of ripped from the full band version. I don't know that I believe that, because when I listen to the full band version, it sounds different to me. Like, it does not sound like it's the same vocal track, but maybe it's just my ears and the way it blends together with the music. I'm not doubting Brian with his expertise and knowledge of the band, but it's just, to me, to my ears, it just never felt like it was the same vocal track, but I guess it is. So also on the Della Brown thing, he was right the first time, by the way, when he said, "Steve, you're totally wrong," and then he corrected himself. I think that was a Freudian slip. He was just trying to be on Team Steve. But and he mentioned something in that call, like, when you see that song live, if you're a guitar lover, it's a song for you. And I guess that's my problem. I'm not a guitar lover. Like, I appreciate a nice crunchy riff. I love watching people play guitar. I like a nice short guitar solo, but I'm just not a guitar guy. Like, I don't want to just watch, like, the Dave Matthews Band or Fish or one of those jam bands just jam back and forth. That's just not my thing. So maybe that's where the disconnect is. And I was also happy to hear that we track with Queensryche fandom, because it is a polarizing song. So I guess we're supposed to be, Steve.
No. Thanks, Brian, for the call. Yeah, always good to hear from Brian. I totally agree that you're correct in your saying that I'm correct for Del Brown. And and how dare you mention Fish and Dave Matthews Band on a Queensryche podcast? I hate that shit too.
It's the first thing that came to mind. I can't. I mean, I appreciate the musicianship. I watched the Dave Matthews Band play, and the guys are freaking phenomenal musicians. It's just not what I want to hear.
I don't like their music in general, but I love when bands will. Della Brown, for instance, when Jeff Tate was doing it on Monsters of Rock Cruise 2 cruises ago, or 3 maybe, I don't know. That was the song, because usually there's a song in Jeff's sets that he lets the band stretch out, play. And Della Brown was the one on that show on Monsters of Rock Cruise. And I was very surprised by that, too, that they picked a mellower song to do that with, and it worked fantastic, because I've seen... And actually, Slash does that too in his solo shows, which I don't give a shit what anybody says are 1,000,000,000% better than anything Guns N' Roses has done in the last 30 years. And Slash does that too. There's a version of Rocket Queen that my guys absolutely, I tortured them with it. I picked it. It's a live version from a live album, and like Rocket Queen's like 17 minutes long. He just tears it up. I love that shit. And the last time we saw them, he did it on a mellower tune, and it worked just as well. So I love that stuff, but it's got to be in the context of, and Tim, it doesn't even have to be rocker drivel. It could be a mellower tune, but as long as they're tearing it up. I get the guitar part of it. And you're right. I hate that Fish, Grateful Dead, and Dave Matthews Band shit. Like, if those bands played in my backyard, I would like go on vacation somewhere. So, once again, Brian, thanks for the call. And as far as someone else goes, I never really even noticed that if there's a difference, or even kind of paid attention to it. I mean, I know both versions. And yes, Tim, I actually like the non-electric version better than the electric version on that, by the way. But I never noticed it, so maybe I'll give it a listen and see if I can tell. So thanks for the tip there, Brian. Give us something to think about. Appreciate it. Good luck with the new book.
Absolutely. Yes, if you'd like to give us a call, as Tim and Brian did, you can call us at 336-422-6862. You can call into that line. That's the TLD Pod Network hotline. Identify yourself as calling for our show, and then we'll get you on the air. on the next episode. You can also record a voice note, MP3 or some other format, which I forget what it is that Tim told me to mention, and I forgot already. MP4 maybe, I don't know. You can do that and just email it to feedback at iremembernowpodcast.com, and we can do it that way as well. So appreciate everybody calling in, all the emails, all the interaction on our social media posts. Just really, really enjoy the level of connection that we have with the audience. So thank you all very much for number one, listening, and number two, interacting with us. We really, really appreciate it. All right, so we mentioned it a little bit at the top. We're calling this our Setlist Extravaganza episode. So we're going to do a whole lot of setlist talk. I am obsessed with set lists and set list construction and the thought process that goes into putting together a set list for any band, whether it's a, multi-million platinum selling act doing a stadium tour, or whether it is a cover band playing in the local bar. I am obsessed with set list construction. When I played in bands over the years, I was generally the lead vocalist in bands for many years, and I insisted on putting the set list together because, number one, I wanted to make it work for myself vocally, and then number two, I just thought that, especially in like a cover band setting, like you need to really think about it, and you want to kind of build momentum as the night goes on. And by like the middle of your second set, you want all the drunk people in the bar to be into your show and dancing and what have you. So it was something I was always obsessed about. And like even every live show that I go to, I just kind of break down the set list and just try to, in my own mind, for whatever reason, because I'm a total nerd, why would they do that? Why would they put this before that and this here and blah, blah, blah. And I've talked a million times about, when you play Operation Mindcrime songs, don't play them out of order. Why would you do that? It makes my head want to explode, stuff like that. So I'm just a set list junkie, and we've got a whole bunch of set list topics we're going to get into. So it's going to kind of be like a potpourri, if you will, of set list topics here today. So Steve, what are your general thoughts on set lists and set list construction and all that kind of stuff?
I do break down set lists in my head as the show's going along afterwards. And I'm kind of like you too. I'm like, why is that song there? Like, and my main thing is I don't mind a ballad here or there, but there's certain bands where like the bands have such a momentum going, and then boom, they like slam the brakes on. I just like that. Shit just drives me crazy. And the one band that in the last probably 10, 15 years that I've seen at least 10 times is Warrant. They're the band that has me shaking my head the most. Like they'll do like two kick-ass rockers, ballad, get the momentum back up, then ballad. Like, I mean, like that shit drives me crazy. I know people want to hear those songs. I don't, but I think a live show needs to have a certain momentum. And I think that there are appropriate times to put in a slower song or a hit. I get that. I get that they, they feel that they have to play this shit. By the way, you don't. And, I love the momentum of shows, and because I am not a fan of Shinedown. I could not name one song, right? So they were on a bill that we went to. It was me, Dylan, and BC, I think, and Shinedown's playing. I didn't know any songs, and like they had such a momentum going, and then boom, they play a slow song, and I'm like, they were doing so good. And then they get it, ramp it back. They did that like 4 times in the set. And I'm like, what the fuck with these guys? And
well, it's because they have a lot of hits that are ballady type songs. That's why you got to play them. So where are you going to put them?
But I'm like, make a medley. Do a medley of them. Get them out of the way.
And that's the problem, I think, in set list construction with ballads. Because if you have a band that has a lot of hits that are ballads, it does break the momentum of the set list, but at the same time, you have to play those songs because that's why half of the audience is there. Like Warren is a good example. Bon Jovi's another one. You've got to do Bed of Roses, and you've got to do Never Say Goodbye, and you've got to do, what am I missing? Always, and all those hit ballads that they had. They might not do all of them every show, but they're going to do 2 or 3 of them for sure, and Warren's the same way. Their albums are ballad heavy. I mean, once they hit it with Heaven, on Cherry Pie, there's several ballads. Every album after that, there's at least one. Even when they got a little heavier and crunchier, as they progressed, they still had their share of slow, ballady type songs. So it's a challenge. Like, where do you fit the ballads in where you, number one, appease your fan base that's there, number two, you don't like destroy the momentum of the show. So yeah, that's an interesting point in set list construction, is like ballads can present a very big problem. If you've got one, that's a hit and you need to play it, put it somewhere in the middle, and it gives everybody a chance to breathe and catch their breath. But if you've got multiple ones, that makes it, I think, even harder to put a good flowing set list together.
Well, you know what fan I want pleased in the audience? Me.
You. Nothing but rocker drivel from start to finish.
That's right. And, but I actually, they do come in handy sometimes, because a lot of shows, we're having some beverages before the show and during the show. And sometimes you need to go to the facilities, so that works out good sometimes. But I do have to say, like, I don't mind ballads. I like ballads. We actually have a ballad episode coming up on Powder Than Hell this summer. And we've done not a bunch of them, but we've done probably like 5 or 6 of them. And, like, there's ones that I like, but speaking of Warrant, I think every Warrant ballad sucks. I fucking hate them.
On.
I cannot stand any Warrant ballads.
Here.
I don't know what it is. I love their hard and heavy stuff. Even their mid-tempo stuff is good, but I don't like their ballads. I think they're fucking terrible. Just wanted to throw that out there.
I Saw Red. That song rules.
Oh,
Love
God.
that song.
I want to run into traffic when they play that.
Ooh, it must be magic, Steve. Inside your eyes, I see my destiny. Come on.
Or terrible. Absolutely terrible.
I love Warrant. I love Warrant, the Janie Lane era. I'm not much into it after that, but
those albums are good.
They're okay. It's the old, classic era versus new era. It's not the same. Like, to me, Janie Lane was Warrant. Like, he was the songwriter, he was the voice, he was the emotion. I mean, when he was gone, it's just not the same. You're right. The albums aren't bad. I'm kind of contradicting what I said at the outset when we were talking about that email. I just have a hard time accepting it as Warrant. You know what I mean? It just doesn't sound the same to me.
And the thing about that is, too, we were talking about it. And we know for a fact, I know as far as Warrant goes, to keep on the Warrant tangent while we're here, like, there's people that think Robert Mason is Janie Lane. They don't know that he's dead. They do not know that he's dead. And I wonder, are there Queensryche, I'm doing air quotes, fans that don't know that Jeff Tate's not the singer anymore?
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, they're going and there's, oh my God, that was great. It's good to see Jeff. And they don't know it's him.
I would bet there's people that go to see them that don't even know Jeff Tate's name. They just know the music.
Yeah, well, like, go see, like, back in the day, go see Foreigner. Who really knew any guys in that band? He could have put anybody in there.
No original members.
Yeah.
But they're still Foreigner, and that's okay. People want to hear the music, and that's what it boils down to, is we want to hear those songs, and I don't care who's playing them. My wife and I went to see a cover band yesterday. They were playing like a concert in the park thing at a local park around here, a band called, I'll give them a little plug, called Velveeta. I don't know if you've ever seen them, Steve. They're based out of State College.
I heard they're pretty cheesy.
They are. That's their tagline, playing the cheesy music of the 80s, and they're freaking phenomenal.
That's awesome. That's a great name.
Oh, I'm telling you. And it's, 4 dudes that look like us, older guys, and they crushed these. So they played Hot for Teacher, which I've never seen a cover band play. And the freaking drummer had a little 5-piece kit, and he nailed the beginning. Like, it was amazing. Like, I couldn't believe it. And they're cool. Playing to the most eclectic crowd you could think of, because it's at an outdoor free concert in the park kind of thing. And they had the crowd into it, man. There was people there that were like, there was like 2-year-olds running around, and there was people that were probably in their 70s, and they played stuff that everybody enjoyed, and they played it all very well. And I just enjoy the live music experience. And I forget where I was going with this, but they did a really good job. So shout out to Velveeta. They're from State College, PA. So if you guys ever get a chance to see them, go check them out.
Ray, let me interrupt for 1 second. Ray, happy Father's Day, my friend.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You too. Thank you.
And happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Of course, it will be past by the time you guys listen to it, but I hope you had a good one.
About that.
So, we're celebrating going to a baseball game today, of course. But
there you go.
So happy Father's Day, everybody. Tim, happy Father's Day, buddy.
Yeah, I totally forgot it was Father's Day. Don't think I'm an asshole. Like when your dad passes away, it kind of becomes a day you don't really mark on the calendar. So for me, it's been it'll be 20 years this year since my dad died.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just one of those days that just kind of comes and goes, and I don't really give it a whole lot of thought other than like hearing from my kids and that sort of thing. But let's get on to the main topic, I guess. I've been bitching for episodes now about the current Queensryche's set list. First, the Origins tour, which was silly in my opinion. I know it was wildly successful, and they'll probably do it again. But in my humble personal opinion, I thought it was a terrible idea. And then the current set list that they're playing, and they're doing these like one-off like casino shows over the summer. It's not that it's a bad set list. They're doing a lot of songs you would expect them to do, but it's just all classic era with like one modern era song in it, somewhere right in the middle of the set. So I've been bitching that this band has grown and evolved over the years with Todd coming aboard, with Mike Stone in the band again. With Casey Grillo playing drums. They are a different band than what they were in the past. So embrace who you are, celebrate the great music you've made together with this version of the band, and play it live. So what Steve and I were talking about doing today is the first part of our Setlist Extravaganza is if we got to write the set list for the current version of the band, the Todd LaTorre era dream set list, if you will, what would that set list be? We did give ourselves some parameters to stick by. We had to keep it to under 1 hour and 45 minutes, which I think we both kept it under an hour and a half, actually. So you figure with in between song banter and that kind of thing, you'd probably be around an hour and 45 minutes or so. And it had to be at least 60% songs from the Todd LaTorre era. I failed at that, actually. I thought I was going to be over that number, but I'm like right around 60. I think I'm like 58% if you do the math. So I think the reason I did that is one of the songs in my list is pretty long. So I think I probably have one or two less songs than you do, Steve. So that was the assignment number one. So we are going to run through both of our lists and have some discussion back and forth on that. And then we've got some other set list topics coming up. So Steve, do you want to go first? You want me to go first? You pick.
You go first. Go ahead.
All right, I'll go first.
You got the mic.
I got the mic. All right, so here's my Todd LaTorre era set list in order that I want to hear. Again, keeping in mind the momentum I want to build, the way I want this show to be structured. I'm not getting into all the tour's called this and the stage looks like this and all that. I don't care. As long as it looks cool, I'm good. Has some good lighting. So my opening song is going to be In Extremis from Digital Noise Alliance. I chose that as an opener. I think it's a great opening song to an album. I think it would be a great opening song to a show. It's very high energy. The one thing about that song to me is it allows every band member to kind of shine, which I think is important in an opening song. You want to get everybody front and center, everybody involved. It's got great soaring vocals. It's got great guitar work. It's got an awesome guitar solo section with the classic Queensryche guitarmonies, as you call it. The drumming is exceptional on it. I just think it's a really good, very strong, high energy song to start the night. So once we get into that, or get to the end of that, we're going to just keep going. I want a double punch to the face right out of the gate. So In Extremis ends, give me a 4 count, and we're going right into Blood of the Levant. I still don't remember how to say it right. Blood of the Levant, I believe it is. I just think it's a great heavy song. I was flip-flopping those two throughout the week, thinking one might be a better opener than the other, but I just think the way In Extremis starts, you could have more of a build as the band hits the stage before the song starts, whereas Blood of the Levant is just right out of the gate, punches you in the face. So I think that'd be a better number 2 song, but just a really good 1-2 punch to start the show. So Steve, what do you think of the beginning? Are you into it?
I'm into it so far. I'm rocking. I got the fist in the air, ready to rock and roll. And did you name your tour?
I did not.
Okay.
I could. I could think of one as we go on.
Just wondered.
No, I did not name my tour. So
no, good rocking start. Like it.
All right, so now here's where we get to the momentum part. All right, so now we've got to appease the classic era Queensryche fans, right? So you got 2 songs out of the gate that, if you're just a classic era guy, you don't know those songs. So you're just going to be like, what the hell? Who are these guys? When the second song ends, we're going to go right into the Whisper. We're going to go Rage for Order, classic song. Wasn't a hit, but it's a song that, if you're a fan of the classic era band, you should know this tune. I've talked ad nauseum about this song and how much I love it. It's just got everything I want in a Queensryche song. So, if even, speaking for myself, if I'm at a show and like a band comes out and they open with a tune that I don't know, as long as it's a good, fast-paced, heavy song that gets your energy pumping or your blood pumping, I'm okay with that usually. So I think at this point you got 2 kick-ass tunes, then you hit them with something from the classic era. It connects with those people in the crowd. So then after that, we're going to go one step further. And again, I want those 3 songs, boom, boom, boom. No break in between, no bullshit, just one right into the next. Then you can take a little break after the Whisper to catch your breath, because those are 3 really killer songs vocally. So Todd probably needs a drink and wants to address the crowd a little bit. Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Blah, blah, blah. We're going to do one that I think everybody in this building knows. Eddie Jackson starts the bass to Jet City Woman. So now we're going to hit you with the big hit, right out of the gate. So we got two newer songs, one classic era song that's kind of a deeper cut, and now we're going to do one of the big hits. So we're going to do Jet City Woman, really get the crowd pumping and going. Everybody knows that song. Everybody loves that song. Everybody waits for Eddie to do the bass thing at the beginning, throw the pick in the crowd, all that stuff, then go back to playing without a pick. So classic song. Now at this point, 4 songs in, everybody in the building is engaged. If you're just a hits person, you got a hit in the first 4 songs. I'm into it. I'm watching and digging what these guys are doing.
Every time I leave, you say you won't be there, and you're always there. Every time I cry.
So what do you think, Steve, so far? How we doing?
You got some good momentum going here. I like the placement of Jet City Woman. You got a couple quick jabs in the beginning there. I think Jet City Woman's a good placement there, and you're pulling me in. I'm not headed to the bathroom yet.
Well, that's good. You'll have a bathroom break later. Trust me. Yeah, I like when a band plays like a big hit early in the set. I think it really helps that building the momentum thing. Like, you go see Guns N' Roses and they open with Welcome to the Jungle. It's like, come on, man. Is there a better way to start a show than that? I just always really like when a band puts one of their bigger hits early in the set list. All right, so then we're going to go back to the more modern era after Jet City Woman. It ends, and then we're going to kick into to Light Years. Just a song that I can't get enough of. It's kind of proggy, it's kind of heavy. I wouldn't say it's up-tempo, but it's kind of upper mid-tempo. Just very, very well-written song. Song that they have performed live. I think they did it on the DNA tour. Sounded great. Just can't get enough of that song live. So want to hear Light Years. Now, we just had that conversation about the ballads and kind of, where do you place them? And this song to me isn't a ballad, I guess, as producer Tim would say this is a lament. It is without a doubt the best song in my opinion off of the self-titled Queensryche album, the first Todd record. We're going to get that creepy baby sound effect coming over the PA. We're going to do all that stuff, little mood lighting, and then we're going to do a World Without, which to me is as good as it gets modern era.
Voices whisper in the night.
Love the lyrics, love the vibe of the song. It's creepy, it's haunting. It's just such a great, well-constructed song, and I just really, really want to hear it live. Probably never will, but would really, really like to hear that one. And it gives you a little bit of a break, because we've had Punch in the Face, classic song, hit, another heavy up-tempo song. Now you need to catch your breath a little bit, so I put that song at number 6. Now, that song has that kind of creepy fade out again, where it's like almost like orchestral sounding. You hear the creepy baby again. And I think it would flow perfectly into that song ends, and then you hear,
Worry, dear, he'll never find the gun.
A child alone in Daddy's room, the gun was hidden here. No one home to catch me when I fall.
A young man now in a private chair. I've seen the world through a bitter stare.
and then we're going into Best I Can. Another, let's call it a semi-hit. It wasn't like a hit at the level of Silent Lucidity or Jet City Woman or like Eyes of a Stranger, but it's a song that I think even the casual Queensryche fan should know is the kickoff track of their biggest selling album. So I would think that everybody in the crowd would know that song. It's a good up-tempo tune. It's one that I've never heard Todd sing Best I Can. Have you? Has it ever been in a set list in the modern era?
I don't think so. I don't think I've ever seen Todd perform that.
Yeah, me either.
Because I think that would be one I'd be like, holy shit, like Todd sang Best I Can. So I don't think so.
And that's why I pick, and you'll notice as we go through this with the classic era songs, like I'm picking songs that like are, some of them are well known, but they're not ones that they do all the time. I mean, Jet City Woman obviously is a hit, and that they do that on probably every set. But like The Whisper, I know they've done it in the past. They pull it out here and there, but it's not one they've done a lot of. Even the classic lineup, I mean, that was a song they rarely played live, in the later years. So I want to mix it up. I want it to be some hits. I want it to be a little bit of, maybe some deeper cuts, some mid-level hits. I don't want it to be the hits and stuff that you would necessarily expect. The other thing you'll notice, we'll see if you notice it. I'll see if you can call out what's different about my list here. So Best I Can, great song, keeps the momentum going, or gets the momentum back after the catch your breath moment with World Without. Then track number 8, we're going to go into what was my favorite song from The Verdict, Dark Reverie.
If I leave, would you wait for me if I fall?
Just the song is so good, just so solid. Parker Lundgren wrote that song by himself, according to the writing credits. No, he's no longer involved in the band, but oh well, we're going to play your song anyway, dude. Just a song I would absolutely lose my mind if I saw them play that song live. So then we're going to get back into some classic era. I know I could go a whole show without hearing anything from The Warning or the EP, but I know that they would never do that. So we're going to go with a little bit of a deeper cut. I'm going to do Enforce off of The Warning. good up-tempo tune. Todd sings it well. One of my favorite songs from that early era. I just think it'd be a really good, strong thing there in the kind of in the middle of the show. Keep the momentum going. Because the next couple songs are going to be, they're not down-tempo, but they're kind of mid-tempo songs. And they're two songs for me that they go together in my head. They're kind of like I Am I and Damaged, but they're new era. Like I can't hear one without hearing the other one after it. So my number 10 song would be Bulletproof.
How many times must we try? Lost in the gaze of your wandering eyes. How many times?
Off of Condition Human, which I believe was my highest ranked song from that album whenever we did it. And then right after that is Hourglass. It's like those two songs are like yin and yang to me. They're like alpha and beta. They just go together. I want to hear one right after the other, and I always dig when bands do that too. When they play a couple of songs from an album that are back to back. So, what do you think from here, Steve? You still into it, or are you getting ready for a bathroom break?
No. World Without. I may take a quick trip.
Okay,
but it is cool because it is. We did talk about the creepiness at the beginning of that and stuff, and kind of at the end. I do like how it segues, how you have it segue into Best I Can. I think that's very cool. Dark Reverie, great one. Enforce. I'm surprised that you actually put one from Warning on there. Very surprised, and I do like the two in a row from an album. I do like that, and our lists are well. We'll see. We'll see how they go, but.
I'm anxious to see how our lists compare, as always.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make you a ballad sandwich now, Steve. You know what that is? It's when you put a really heavy song and then a ballad in the middle, and then another really heavy song after it, just to try to keep your attention. So
I appreciate that.
So yeah, we're gonna end Hourglass, and we're gonna go right into Damaged. I know a song that you love from Promised Land, a song that I love. I think a song that most Queensryche fans love. It's nice and heavy. It's nice and crunchy. It's a song that I think Todd sings very well. Deeper cut, I guess. I mean, it wasn't a hit. It wasn't a single. Wasn't a video. It's a song that was a staple in the set list for many years. Kind of comes and goes now. I know every once in a while they pull it out. But I think it's one that should absolutely be a staple. So I'm going to put Damaged right there. And then the song I gotta hear, Steve. I think you probably know what's coming. Todd La Torre era. Again, not really a ballad per se, more of a lament, I guess. A very progressive song I absolutely love and would love to see them play this live and see if they could pull it off live. And that is from Condition Human. What is it, Steve? Just Us.
What could I say to you? There's nothing
1000%. I want this song in my set list. I think it's perfectly placed here. We got a cruncher before it. We're going to have a kick-ass heavy tune after it. Gives the crowd, again, another chance to catch your breath. It's been, 5 or 6 songs since we did World Without, so we've been pretty up-tempo and heavy since then. So Just Us, I just think it's such a great song. It's got so many weaves in and out. There's so much going on in it. It's just a beautiful song. One of my favorite songs from the new era. So, what, are you going to the bathroom
For that song?
Yeah.
I probably don't have to go yet. This is the last one.
Well, we're getting towards the end here. That's song 13. So So then, out of Just Us, got to bring the tempo back up. It's time to get heavy again. This is my long song. I got to hear Tormentum live, man, off of DNA. I just think if you end the Just Us with the way it kind of fades out, real nice, some acoustic guitar, you get right into that freaking Slayer riff that starts Tormentum, into that heavy ass riff, the double bass drumming, the just incredible vocals on that song. Like I can't get enough of that tune. I have to hear it live. I think it's like 8 minutes long. You got to do at least one, quote unquote epic type song. So Tormentum is the other piece of bread on my ballad sandwich. So you got Damage, then Just Us, and then back into Tormentum. And then we're going to keep the momentum going. We're going to end this thing heavy. A lot of rocker drivel here at the end, Steve. So we're going to go from Tormentum into Guardian, which is the song that got me into modern era Queensryche. That was the one that hooked me. As soon as I heard that song, I was like, yeah, I need to give this version of the band a better shot than what I have. That song is just so good and so heavy, and I've watched YouTube videos of them playing it live. It sounds great live. Would really, really like to hear that one. And then I'm going to close my main set with another staple, one of those songs that should always be in a Queensryche set list. Even if there's some fatigue, it's a song I think that everybody in the room still wants to hear. You know it as soon as you hear it, and that song is Empire. Title track, of course, from the Empire album. I think it was the first single from the Empire album, was a big hit, staple in the set list, a song you've got to play. So I'm going to end my set proper with song number 16, Empire. So Steve, what do you think so far?
I'm enjoying it. Some interesting picks there, which is for sure. Like you said, Just Us, kind of momentum breaks it, but it's a decent song. I don't mind it. And like Tormentum, very cool. And we'll see how the rest of it's going to go. But I like the ending of the set proper with Empire though, because then you end it like Empire, and then
right,
then they go off.
Yes. So then we're gonna have the crowd screaming. We're gonna have the stage black. We'll have some of those nice light dim lights or like under lights shine just to kind of illuminate the stage. We're going to hear the first notes, the pew of Screaming in Digital. Song I would have never put in a set list ever in my life until recently. So I think it'd be a really cool way to come back on the stage, the way that song starts. And I got to hear it. I want to hear it live now, every show. So Screaming in Digital would start my encore set. I've got 3 encore songs, by the way. So Screaming in Digital, song number 17. Number 18, we're going to do one of, if not the best song of the Todd La Torre era, one that they pissed me off and I'm still salty about. They didn't play when I saw them on the DNA tour, even though they did it a couple of nights prior to that. Lost in Sorrow, man, from DNA. That song is just so good. I love that opening. We've called it the Britney Fox riff at the beginning.
Yep.
Very un-Queensryche sounding riff, but so cool. And just lyrically, vocally, musically, everything about that song is exactly what I want to hear in a, not just a modern era Queensryche song, but any Queensryche song. It's just so good. I have to hear it live. I think it's a nice sandwich in between Screaming in Digital and our closing song, which is, Steve, the one song that should be in every Queensryche set list, no matter what, no matter who's in the band, no matter what tour you're on. You got to give me Walk in the Shadows to close the set. Just a phenomenal song. Keeps that momentum going, a good hard rocker to close it. It's an audience participation song. You can kind of get everybody doing a little split the crowd in half. Let's do some walk with me's, whatever it is to just really send everybody out on a high note and a really good closing tune. So Walk in the Shadows is my closer. So I'm just going to go over it one more time. My set list in order: In Extremis, Blood of the Levant, The Whisper, Jet City Woman, Light Years, A World Without, Best I Can, Dark Reverie, Enforce, Bulletproof, Hourglass, Damaged, Just Us, Tormentum, Guardian, and then Empire closing the main set, and then encores, Screaming in Digital, Lost in Sorrow, Walk in the Shadows. So Steve, are you a happy customer as you're leaving my show?
I am a happy customer. I would enjoy the show, and I would go see this set list again. Like if they were playing close, I would hit another show for sure, knowing that they're digging, and you can't even really say digging deep because like they don't really play anything of the Todd stuff, so you can't really say, well, this is a deep track because they don't play any of them.
Yeah, they're all deep tracks.
Yeah, so you can't really, go by that. But I'd be like, man, they're finally, delving into the new era of Todd. I would absolutely, I enjoy it.
And that's what I was going for. I was going for I want this set list to appeal to all Queensryche fans. Now, granted, you have to be still on board after the transition in vocalists and with all the member changes. Like, if you only heard Empire and you went to see this show, you might be okay because there's some big tunes from Empire. You get Jet City Woman, you get Best I Can, and Empire. So okay, there's at least 3 songs I know, three hits. I'm guessing you probably know Walk in the Shadows. You might not know Enforce if you're just a casual fan, but I wanted to try to appeal to everybody, like the hardcore guys like us who want to hear deep tracks, want to hear new stuff, that sort of thing. It appeals to the classic Queensryche people. You've still got some deepish cuts, like Damaged and Enforce and Whisper, and you've still got some hits, to keep some just hits people engaged. So that's kind of what I was going for. To me, this is a flawless set list for this era of the band, mind you, not all eras, but for this era. This is exactly what I would want to see. And what's the one thing, I don't know, Steve, did you notice anything odd about my set list?
Anything odd about it? Let me just look real quick here. You didn't have Eyes of a Stranger.
There's nothing from Operation Mindcrime on my set list.
No Mindcrime, yeah.
And that's the way I want to keep it. I think that I've mentioned on the show before, I hold that album in such high regard. Like, I don't want anybody playing that song or singing those songs other than the guy that made those songs, came up with the concept, the whole thing. Nothing against the guys playing them now. I know they're going to do it. And if I was going to see them and they played it, I'd be into the songs. But to me, that album is sacred, and I don't need, it's kind of like the Origins stuff. The other thing is there's no EP songs. I've heard Queen of the Reich enough fucking times from this version of the band. I don't need to ever hear it again. I don't need any of that real early stuff because this era of the band to me has nothing to do with that era other than Enforce. Threw that one in there just as throw a bone to the fans like you that need some rocker drivel from the early albums. So put that in there. But I want them to really embrace the current lineup, the current music they've created together. Sprinkle in some classics, sprinkle in a couple of hits, and give me a good show.
Yeah, I would absolutely go to that. Like I said, I would see it again. Fun show. I would leave that show going, all right, they did good. They did us a solid for sure.
Yeah, and if you're touring this set list, you could do maybe Jet City Woman, roll it in and out with another song, every night, like do Jet City one night, do another Rainy Night maybe, or do, if you want to throw a Mind Crime song in, you could throw in, maybe the title track or Revolution Calling or something, some classic era, quote unquote hit type song in that number 4 spot. But I just want to really keep that momentum building, early in the show there. So, all right, well, that's mine. Can't wait to hear what you got.
Okay, mine is called the Rocker Drivel Tour. No, it's not. That was for Tim. Actually, it's called the Queensryche Eras Tour.
Okay, I like it.
And one thing too, I was thinking about. I literally my alarm went off this morning. I got up and it literally popped in my head. They need to step up their merch at shows. Like the last show, it was just like Monsters of Rock Cruise. I think it was just the Queensryche, the logo for the EP. There's a lot of bands that have a lot of cool like shirts and merch and stuff like that. They need to step up their merch game, by the way.
Especially when you have a logo as cool as the Tri-Reich. Like, you can do so much with that thing, man. Like, there's no excuse to not have killer shirts.
I mean, I would love to have a shirt with just, like, maybe, like, 3-inch Tri-Reichs, the whole shirt. Like, a black shirt with white Tri-Reichs would be fucking killer.
Like Michael's guitar.
Yeah. So, okay, guys, step up the merch, too, by the way. Okay, so, like your show, mine started out with In Extremis. Great rocker, great one out the gate. I was like, okay, we're headed down the road here. So great rocker in the latest Queensryche album with Todd, opening track, opening song in the show. I think it fits very well. We both had that one. Then I go into Damaged from Promised Land. I gotta have that song in there. Absolutely love it. And then I go to Ray's intro song to the Todd era, Guardian, after that. I remember seeing that live the first time, and I was like, "Oh, this is good." We got that like that. It's got that that stuttering rocker. 1 2 3 punch. But
so we're 3 for 3 so far with matches.
We are 3 for 3.
Yeah, how about that?
And the next song, there's no pause, and like you said too, there's not a lot of talking in this set list, especially after seeing the Gene Simmons band like a month ago. Oh, he didn't shut the fuck up. Yeah. So when they end Guardian, you get that do 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 do, and they go right into Chapters from DNA. So it kind of it's not a mellow track, but it's more of a mid tempo kind of track, and it kind of gives you a little breathing room there. Then they get done with that song. Todd's like, all right, welcome to the show. You're going to get a different Queensryche show tonight than you've ever seen, and hope you guys enjoy it. Boom, right into Revolution Calling. just so we get right back in there. This gets the crowd like, all right, like, you know, something from Mind Crime. And then, and you mentioned it too, but I have this integrated into my set list. I have songs that get switched out as it goes along because I hate static set lists. I hate when the band will do the same set list the whole time, and it's simple to do. I know that some bands like Maiden and Kiss, they're so regimented, but like you can switch songs out. Even if you have an elaborate show, you can just have a basic light button for, okay, here's the song we're switching out tonight. Boom, put the song in there. Just make sure the spotlights are on the guys and you're good to go. So,
yeah, there doesn't have to be a big production for every song.
No, absolutely not. So, and you know, Queensryche was never a band that really had a big production that, you know, that you were getting a certain, you know, the light rig was coming down for whatever, you know, you never really had that. So it was never really, so it was never really an issue. So next track, we're going to go to Q2K. We're going to get a little deep track area here. We're going to do Sacred Ground from Q2K. But on certain nights, we're going to switch that out with Hit the Black from Here and the Now Frontier. So depending on what show you go to, you're going to get that. So it gives you another reason to go to more shows because you're going to see different songs here and there in the set. Then I go to another one that you had from the Verdict, Light Years. I love that back and forth riff to it that they play. Light Years, fantastic song from the Verdict. Yeah, so after Light Years, we go to, and I think you only had one song from the Queensryche self-titled. I think you had just Us, right, from that one.
Yep.
So
no, it was World Without.
World Without. I'm sorry, I knew it was one of those, you know, slower dribble songs. But I have Don't Look Back. From the self-titled Queensryche album with Todd. I like going into that album. You may or may not hear another song from that album on there, but I think it's cool to have something in there from, okay, this, you know, hey, you know, when I joined the band, we first did it, you know, our first album we did, so here's one of the tracks from that. Hope you guys like it, kind of thing. You know, no long banter, but just you got to intro some songs. I think some songs kind of speak for themselves that you don't need an intro for, but it's good every now and then to throw an intro into a song. So you get an intro for this one. He kind of talks about briefly about joining the band and you know, how they were rising west before that, and then they, you know, he kind of joined the band. So gets into a little bit of that, but then you go right into, Tim's going to insert it right here. With the bass for Jet City Woman. Always a fan favorite. I always love seeing this one. I don't care. I could see, this is one of the songs I could see every band Queensryche play, Jet City Woman. Crowd loves it. And then we stick with a little bit of a deeper track kind of thing. So this is another song that gets switched out. So we have Child of Fire from Warning. Or you get The Thin Line from Empire. So you may get two in a row from Empire, or you may get Child of Fire. I had to put Child of Fire on there, right? You know I did. I think it's a fantastic song.
Another hungry
You know, lights go down, and then you get that riff. You think that Brittany Fox took the stage for about 10 seconds there, and you get lost in sorrow. Great song. That chorus, it's kind of a haunting chorus, I think, when you get that. I really love that. I still feel bad for you that they took it out of the set list right before you saw them, so you get to see it in my set list too.
That's one of the things about that song. Like it's like a contrast. Like the song, I won't say it's happy sounding, but it's kind of happy sounding. Like it's kind of up tempo. It's not dark. It's like a very good, like kind of.
It's got a good groove.
Yeah, I don't know what you call it musically. Like it's not like super heavy, but it's like it's still heavy. Yeah, but it's just got kind of like a positive kind of tone to it. Then the lyrics are dark as fuck, man. Like if you listen to the lyrics, like it's a complete contrast in music and lyrics. And that's one of the things I really dig about that song.
Yeah, I like that one. That would absolutely have to be in the set. So we're getting towards the latter part of the set. After that, we go to the Conditioned Human album, Arrow of Time. Just another straightforward rocker. I like it. The soloing in it is great. You got a good moment. You can do a little back and forth with Stoney and Michael. You can do that. I think it would work very cool in that one. Then I go back to the self-titled Queensryche album for Fallout. I've always liked this song. I thought it was really good. It went over really well when I saw them play it live. Just a good rockin' song. Then we get the lights go off. You get the voicemail, and then it goes right into Empire. Band plays that fantastic. I could not have this in my set, but I have it a little up further, so we're not even getting into the encores yet. I think I have one more song than you had on your playlist. So then they go right into Man the Machine, just like heavy after Empire, then da 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 da. Like go right into Man the Machine from The Verdict. I think we're keeping up the pace here. So then the pace is good. So now we get a little more breathing room. I throw in Realms from DNA. I think it's a good mid-tempo song. Let you catch your breath a little bit. Gives Todd a little time to stretch out. Always a fun song. I like that one. Then for the end of the set proper, I'm going to switch out. It could be you can get one night, one another night. So on the first night of the tour, you're going to get Needle Lies. on nights that you don't get needle eyes to end the set proper, you're going to get spreading the disease.
She always brings me what I need without a beg and sweat and bleed.
So you get one or the other. You get a mind crime punch in the face at the end of the set. So band goes off, crowd's like anticipating what are they going to play next. They come out with Ray's favorite, Walk in the Shadows. Like no intro, no nothing. The lights just come on and they start walking the shadows. The crowd, walk with me. You can't, and you're right, Ray, you can't have a Queensryche set without Walk in the Shadows. Absolutely killer. Then switch out song again. You either get Blood of the Levant, or you get Behind the Walls from DNA. So you could get either one. I kind of didn't like Behind the Wall starts out a little murky maybe for a song in the encore. I kind of maybe need to rethink that one a little bit and switch it out with a song up further in the set list, but still, because I love that Did You Ever? I think it's a good crowd chanting thing that like when they did it on the Monsters of Rock cruise, I was like, yeah, like finally like a freaking Todd song. Was the only Todd song we got, I think, on the cruise last year. Then sometimes you get 21 songs, sometimes you get 20 songs in the set list. Depending on the crowd. Man. Depending on the crowd. If the crowd's really rocking, you get an extra song. So one of the extra songs will switch in and out. You'll get either Queen of the Reich or Best I Can. But I ended the set with Eyes of a Stranger. I think it is a perfect show-ending song, because when they do that, extend that da-na, da-na, da-na. Because that's when Todd intros the band. I love that, because I love, like, if you listen on Live Crime, like that last part's extended. Oh, yeah. I love that. I just love how that goes on for longer.
Yeah, it's a perfect show closer.
Yeah, and like I said, that's when Todd intros the band. I think it's a really cool ending set. I love doing this, and I love talking music. I love talking music. But like 100 times more than that, I love talking live music. I love talking set lists. I was like a kid at the candy store, like doing this episode. I was like, you know, it is, and it's cool too, because like you're not, because we'll do episodes like that on Potter Than Hell. I'm like, okay, here's what we're doing this week. Just show up. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about that. So you're not listening to like 4 albums or a playlist of like 30 songs or whatever. So you just show up. Very minimal prep time for it, just like shit just comes into your head, you write it down. in what we're going to do later. And that was, and we'll talk about that too. That was simple but difficult. And when we get into that, we'll talk about that. But I love just set lists and just talking about them because like if you go to a show with buddies and stuff like that, or after, what do you talk? You always talk about the set list.
Yeah.
Oh
Why
my
didn't
God,
they
like,
play blah blah
yeah,
blah?
yeah. Like when we got back, we were getting in the car from the Gene Simmons show. We're like, the venue's like an hour and a half from where we live, and like the whole ride home was like, that was cool.
Bitching.
Like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, like, but that's like for every show. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, oh, I would have loved to see this, but I'm glad they did that. It was cool that they didn't expect that. And that's a thing anymore too that I want to bring up too, that most bands anymore, you don't get a holy shit, I can't believe that they did that. You don't get that a lot anymore. I wish you did. I was like this close to one of my switch out songs was going to be like Synchronicity 2 or Neon Nights, but
no,
I don't know. I don't get your hatred for that.
It's terrible.
But I'm like I can't. I'm doing Todd stuff. I can't throw any. I'm not throwing any covers in there. So, but in some bands, like I don't know. I could talk about that for hours. But what'd you think?
I think it's great. I would be totally happy with this set. So you did something a little different than what I did. One of the other things I didn't mention was like I tried to keep in mind what I think they might actually do. You know what I mean? Like I don't think they would ever touch a song on Q2K in the current lineup, which I wish they would, but I don't think they ever would. So that's why I didn't put anything from that album on there. Same thing with Here in the Now Frontier. I think they just pretend like that album never happened, and just it's like Kiss doing a song from The Elder or Carnival of Souls.
That's a good thing, though.
Well, it is, but it's never going to happen, or it would never happen. But no, I love the addition of Sacred Ground. That's one of my, well, we haven't done that album yet, one of my favorite songs on that record. Totally cool with the Mindcrime songs you picked. And I know in my set they would absolutely do Mindcrime songs, but just for me personally, what I want to hear, that wouldn't be there. But if you do Revolution Calling and Spreading the Disease and Eyes of a Stranger, I'm all in. I'm totally good. You had, let's see, 1, 2, 3.
We had 9 that crossed.
9 that crossed, and you had 3 on your list that made my short list that I cut as I was putting this together, and that was Chapters was on my original list. Don't Look Back was on my original list, and Fallout was on my original list. So I ended up cutting back to just one song from that first album. Both of those songs are great. I would enjoy hearing either one of those. I think they did. Which
Fallout?
one was it? No,
I've seen them play Fallout.
Don't Look Back. They did on the DNA tour. I want to say it was like the second or third song, and it sounded great. I don't think I've ever seen Fallout. I'll have to look back at that set list. I don't remember. That'd be a great song. It's quick, too. It's only, 2 minutes and something.
Yeah,
I think it's a real fast song.
Yeah, my set list only came out to an hour and 25 minutes. So throw in a very little talking. Say you're going to throw it to an hour and a half, hour and 35 minutes. Doable.
Yeah, I think you cheated a little bit on your list, having all these switch out songs. That means you couldn't cut your list down. So you wanted to put some other ones like honorable mentions in there, which I'm totally cool with. But I would love to hear Sacred Ground or Hit the Black, either one. I'd be happy with. Child of Fire or Thin Line. I would rather hear Child of Fire, but I'd be okay if they busted out the Thin Line. Like something kind of deeper cut. Yeah, something different. Needle Eyes, Spreading the Disease. Can't go wrong with either one of those. Behind the Walls is one that I did not even have on my short list. I think they've just done it so much already. That's the one song that's kind of become kind of a staple of the set list. It's a great live song. I do enjoy it. Like you said, the sing along gang chorus is pretty powerful live. But they opened the DNA tour with it. I didn't think it worked well as an opening song. It's better like kind of mid set or maybe opening the encore set or like where you had it. I think is perfect. But yeah, I left that one off kind of intentionally just because we've heard it so many times already. But no, I would not object to it being in the set. And then I would much rather hear Best I Can than Queen of the Reich in your number 20 position. And then Eyes of a Stranger, like you said, you can't close a show with a better song. I mean, the way that they extend that ending out has always been kind of just the classic moment of every Queensryche show. It always makes me sad back in the old days because you know it was coming to an end. But they've either closed like the main set or the full show with that many times over the years, and it just is always just such a great way to end a set. So no, overall, man, I think your list is great. I would be a very happy ticket or a concert goer if I bought a ticket to this show. I thought Realms was a bit of a surprise. I like that one. Would have never have expected to hear that one, so that's cool. Those first four, and 3 of them are ones that I picked, and then Chapters, which I knew was going to be on your list. I know how much you like that song, so I would dig hearing that one too. But yeah, overall, man, I think it's a great list. You have 0 ballads in your set list, so you could have called it the Rocker Drivel Tour.
Absolutely. Or just the Rocker Tour.
Just the Rocker Tour, yeah. I like the Queensryche Eras Tour. I think that's a good name as opposed to like Origins. Let's do stuff from all eras. So I think it's really, really good. So yeah, that was fun, man. I love doing this kind of stuff. I love putting together fantasy set lists and all that kind of stuff.
Hi, producer Tim here. Our friends Ray and Steve got a little verbose and ambitious. They recorded a whole other show's worth of material after that. Instead of airing all of that, we will work with the second part of this episode for an upcoming episode. Just so you know. Hey Ray, go ahead and take us out.
Thank you all for listening. Thanks for interacting with us, and we will get out of here. So you've been listening to I Remember Now, the Queensryche podcast. We're available on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you get your podcasts. Please subscribe to the show. Leave us a review or a rating on whatever platform you use. You can now actually comment on Spotify too, by the way, if you didn't know that. If you listen on Spotify, you can leave your comments right there. So it's another way you can get in touch with us. We're a proud member of the TLD Podcast Network. The TLD Network hosts a variety of shows, including the flagship show, Tim's Baby, The Less Desirables, Wheeler's Dog. If you haven't ever listened to Wheeler's Dog, you should check it out. Our good friend Eugene B. Sims hosts that and does a really funny show. It's usually about a half hour long, just general life observations. He's quite the character, so check him out. Also, Beeswax Vinyl Daily is Tim's daily show that he does where he talks about kind of that date in vinyl album history. The Asylum podcast, which we've talked about a lot. My other show with Tim, Gary, and Marvin. Fan Interference, Health Geeks Book Club, Twin City Talk, and many more. Please check out the other shows in the network wherever you get your podcasts, or you can find them at tldpodnetwork.com. Should also plug Potter Than Hell. You can listen to Steve every week. Episodes dropping on Fridays. Potter Than Hell with his crew, BC, BB, Dylan, and whoever else they have on there. Talk about all things hard rock and metal, and just always a lot of fun. I listen almost every week. Every once in a while, you guys do something. I'm like, yeah, I'll listen to the beginning and hear like what you're listening to and all that, but I just can't, depending on what some of the things are. But 99% of your shows I listen to. If you'd like to be a part of our show, please give us a call on the TLD Network hotline, 336-422-6862. That's 336-422-6862. You can leave a message on this show, past shows, or anything else you'd like to give your feedback on. You can also record a voice note, send us an MP3, whatever, to feedback@IRememberNowPodcast.com. You can also find us on our website, same thing, IRememberNowPodcast.com, and we're on social media. Facebook, we're all over the place. On X, we're at I Remember Now Pod. I have an Instagram account, but I have not done anything with it since I started it. I don't really know how to use Instagram because I'm old. But anyway, you can find us if you want. You can also email the show, as we said, feedback@IRememberNowPodcast.com. We love getting your feedback on this episode, any other episode we've done, episode ideas, whatever you got for us, please let us know. And I think that's about it. I rambled through that. It took me longer than the show, I think, to do the closing this week. So until next time, my name is Ray.
And this is Steve.
And thank you again for listening to I Remember Now, the Queensryche podcast, and we'll be back at you soon.